to decipher between what is a need and what is a want. A need and a want. I like to ask myself these three questions, and I will give you three examples. The three questions that I ask to cut through and figure out what your need and want is can it wait? What's my fear? And who am I putting first? Okay, sounds tricky, right? When I look at the circumstance and I go, who is first? Like, it doesn't have to be right. But if I know if I am putting someone else first, or if I know if I'm putting myself first, if it's someone else, why did I have that feeling of uneasiness to begin with? Why am I in this place where something's not okay or you know what I mean? Because I need something, right? If I am putting someone else first, it could be that I'm denying something. It could be that I'm abandoning myself. But when I ask that question, it tells me that I have a need. It tells me that what is my feeling is for a reason. And then I go, oh, maybe I'm putting someone else first here because I actually have something I need. And I find that just helps me in situations like figuring out just to decipher if I'm people pleasing or putting someone else first, because I should be putting myself first. It should be that I'm putting myself first, because maybe there wouldn't be that uneasiness anyways if I was putting myself first. The other thing is, can the thing wait? Like the need or want comes up, or I'm in my like dreamland, or I'm wanting something, or I don't like something. Can the situation, the thing, can it wait? Can it just wait? If it can't wait and there's urgency, it's probably a need. I got to listen to that. And if it is something that really could wait, can it wait? Then I need to let it wait. I need to put that in with my higher power, put that to the side, and just write like, yes, that's the desire of mine. That's my hope. That's my dream. But that's for you, higher power. It's still sacred and still matters. But it can wait. So now I know it's a need or a want, right? It doesn't mean it goes away if it's not a need right now. It just means not for right now. The other thing is doing my fear inventory. Writing out my fear inventory for any kind of situation, big or small, is a huge recovery tool. Just in like figuring out that like, what does that look like? What are they? Like, do I have a scheduling problem? Do I have a people problem? Do I have the location problem? Like when I actually write it all out and then actually start prioritizing that list and then start knocking off one thing at a time, it really makes the big thing that I was worried about, or the thing that the need that I am trying to get met, not so big and scary anymore. It makes it attainable. Now I have a plan, and a plan can help me get to a goal. So this is a really great tool, is by actually looking at my fears. And looking at my fears in a situation tells me so much about myself. And even if I'm going to talk about that with someone, somebody else might have some input. It's like, hey, well, why don't you do this about this? Why don't you rearrange that? Like, it just makes it that I do have the power to do something here. That my fear is in my head, but when I put it on paper, I actually have a way to get some of those tasks taken care of. And that's just me, like, that's like taking charge of my life, And so I just find that like figuring out who am I thinking should go first, or am I putting first, just answers the question. And it confirms that I do have a reason why I'm feeling a certain way, and that I do have a need that I need to be met. This might be kind of tricky to understand, but it's just a little trick that I do. The other thing is like, how much urgency does this have? If there's a lot of urgency, it might be that it's a need. And if it's like an urgency that's happening often, it might be that I need this need to be in my routine. I need this need to be protected and happen often, because it helps nourish me and my soul. So, and then the last thing is, the fear inventory. So we got figure out who's first, figure out what the fears are, and then figure out like if the thing can wait. If the thing can wait, it is probably a want, dream, or desire. Now, here are some examples of what needs are. Speaking for myself, I need sounds funny. I need serenity. Like, I need peace in my life. I need a peaceful home. I like to be in a calm state, and I need reliable support. I used to not have reliable support. I used to not have the most reliable daycare. I used to not have the most reliable family members that I would rely on for certain things. Like, I used to rely on unstable or emotionally unavailable people for emotional support. So having reliable support really helped me with my growth in my journey, right? And it took time to figure out who those people were, but I found that was a need for me because I didn't like the jumping around. I didn't like the up and down. I didn't like the unpredictability. So having reliable support is a major need of mine. Having a peaceful home where there's no other people that are reactive and it's unpredictable, like nice calm home because I got kids to raise. That's important to me. That's a need. That helps my day, my life, my kids, everything. Everything comes out of that. And another need of mine is just like easy access to like play, like exercise, nature. Like, I need that in my life. And, you know, like, it wouldn't make sense for me to be in a really big, busy city. Like, for me, I like to be closer to walks, nature, hikes, water, like that kind of stuff. So I know that that's a need of mine. So I will not be in concrete villages. I will be near nature. And when it comes to my wants, my wants are, I love material things. I would love to have better things. I would love to have a healthy partner. I would love to have maybe I want certain people to be a certain way. Maybe I want certain people to be more respectful or more aware or understand. Maybe I want a situation to be different. Those are all wants because I can remove myself from those situations and not be there, right? So wants can wait. They don't have to be changed right now. Not all the time can I change them. I can't always get what I want, but I can mostly get what I need. Like, the things that I need internally and within close quarters, like a little house in a storm, like me and all my needs is like that little house, right? That's what stays the same. It stays solid. It stays where it's at. And when I have that stability, everything thrives from that. The storm can happen around that. Maybe things go by and are around, but those are my wants. Like, it can change a bit. So these are just examples of how do I know what my needs and my wants are? How do I decipher what my needs and my wants are? I ask myself, who am I putting first? Can this wait? What's my fear inventory? I really look at it and tackle it. But I just find these amazing little tricks really help me figure out what my needs and wants are. Because as an unhealthy person in the beginning, I thought everything was what I needed, and I thought everything was what I wanted. And it was it was a really difficult question when people were well, what's your need? What do you need? And I was just couldn't even answer that question. So it's just an amazing gift to know what that is now. And that's just having boundaries and then protecting those needs. Once I start doing that, I start seeing more what my wants are. Right? And I make that a priority. It becomes clearer when I start putting things with, little fences around them and I start protecting those needs. It makes it clear to even see the wants. But if you're in a place where you kind of don't know, you try these 3 questions and here's some examples of what needs and wants are for me, and they could be very different for you. So anyways, guys, I hope that helps you and have a great day. Okay, bye.